Hey everyone! Today, we'll be taking a look at RF Anchar, which is currently the newest rare Tier 3 destroyer in this game, and it's the Battle Pass ship for this month's Battle Pass. This ship is very similar to RF Admiral Yushikov as both share a lot of the same characteristics, but some of these characteristics work differently on RF Anchar. However, it remains to be a much better ship compared to the previous Battle Pass ship that we got, regardless of its differences with Admiral Yushikov. One of the characteristics of RF Anchar that is present on Admiral Yushikov is its great firepower, since it is also well equipped with armaments. The ship is equipped with 2 missiles, 1 cannon, 3 grenade launchers, and 2 torpedoes. Although they have different quantities for some of the types of weapons they carry, both have the same destructive capability, which is enough to easily defeat some of the most durable ships in Tier 3. But unlike Admiral Yushikov, the ship is a much terrible enemy for submarines as it carries more anti-submarine weapons. The only problem with its firepower is that it struggles in long ranges, as it only carries a few missiles, which is also the problem that Admiral Yushikov suffers. If you can aim well, you may be able to fix that problem using the ship's guns, but you'll likely deal less damage with it as it's usually difficult to use guns at long ranges. So never engage in long-range battles with your enemies when using this ship, as that may give them a higher chance of being able to overpower this ship, especially if their ship specialized in that type of battle. Thankfully, it has an extremely good air defense that will make it challenging for both aircraft and missiles to penetrate. The ship is equipped with 8 air defenses, which is a lot more than what Admiral Yushikov has. Moreover, these air defenses are within the 2 customizable air defense slots of the ship, allowing you to create various combinations of air defenses to further strengthen the anti-air capability of the ship. Despite that huge advantage, never overestimate the air defenses, as it is still possible for aircraft and missiles to penetrate them, especially those bombers and hypersonic missiles. What's certain is that, if you're in a situation where you have to fall back, this ship has a higher chance of being able to survive, especially since it also has decent durability and decent speed. Another problem that this ship has, is the same problem as what Admiral Yushikov suffers, which is poor maneuverability. You have to be very mindful and careful with it as that could put you at a disadvantage, especially when it comes to close-range battles and traversing through alleyways. As to how to use this ship, it's similar to how you would use Admiral Yushikov since both ships have many similar aspects. You can either use it as an aggressive or defensive ship. As an offensive ship, your role will be charging through enemy lines dealing damage, and destroying ships, which is a role that perfectly fits with this ship since it has firepower that is capable of dealing heavy damage, and can charge through enemy lines without taking a lot of damage from missiles and aircraft thanks to its excellent air defense. Its durability isn't indeed the best for an aggressive ship, but the advantages that the ship holds are enough to make its durability not have a significant impact in battle. As a defensive ship, your role is to support and defend your team, which is also a role that the ship is also capable of fulfilling, thanks again to its great firepower and excellent air defense. You can follow those ships that also have great firepower but heavily lack some air defenses. Your air defenses will be very helpful to them in carrying on their assaults as they will cover them from hostile aircraft and missiles, and if they're struggling to advance, you can provide fire support, which should be able to break their struggle since you have good firepower. If you choose to stay at the back of the map and protect carriers, that's fine, as air defenses will provide the carriers more protection from missiles and aircraft. However, bear in mind that if the enemy ships start going after the carriers, you may not be able to effectively fight them because they're very likely gonna engage in a long-range battle, because that's usually how to fight effectively against carriers, and if you guys can recall to what I said earlier, the firepower of the ship struggles in long-range battles. So it's very likely too that you'll be taken down along with the carrier if you choose that role. It's worth mentioning that players using this ship must not be afraid of facing submarines, as the ship has a lot of things that will counter whatever threat the submarine throws. You can use your triple grenade launchers to hit them and intercept their torpedoes. Their ballistic missiles will be useless against you because you have the greatest air defense, and you can launch double torpedoes if you think the grenade launcher isn't enough. RF Anchar is a pure nightmare for submarines. Another thing to keep in mind is that the missile and torpedo launcher are placed in an unusual position. Usually, torpedo launchers are placed at the back or the side of the ship, while missile launchers are at the front of the ship, but this ship has its single missile launcher positioned at the back, while the torpedo launchers are positioned at the front. This specific feature of the ship can be an advantage, but it may also put you at disadvantage in the battle, so be mindful of that. Now I'll be showing you guys some builds that I recommend using. Here is the first build. Use this build if you're gonna use the ship as an aggressive ship, as it squeezes out the best of the firepower of the ship. The only problem with this build is that it decreased the ship's ability to fight submarines because the grenade launcher that it uses cannot hit an underwater submarine, but you can still intercept torpedoes with it. Here is the second build, which is specifically for those who will take the defensive role when using this ship. This one makes the ship a pure nightmare for both submarines and aircraft, since it now has a grenade launcher that can hit them even if they're underwater, and it's now equipped with a missile that can be used against ships and aircraft. With this build, you're a lot safer from bombers, but bear in mind that they carry 2 missile countermeasures. You have to be tricky in using this missile so that they won't be able to attack you and your team. Here are the ship's advantages: decent durability, decent speed, excellent air defense, and great firepower. And here are its disadvantages: poor maneuverability, and poor firepower in long-range battles. For me, this ship is very good and it's worth getting. The advantages it offers are a lot, and these advantages allow the ship to effectively operate in most battle conditions, which makes it a beginner-friendly ship. Furthermore, if the ship is equipped with the best armaments, it can be as great as some of the best cruisers and destroyers in the game, such as the USS CGX, RF Leader, and the Russian battle cruisers. The disadvantages of the ship are not something that should be worried about, as their impact can be minimized. As long as you'll follow the conditions of minimizing their effects, it shouldn't be a big problem, or it shouldn't be a problem at all. So what do you guys think about this ship? Let me know in the comment section below. Now that's all for today's video. Hopefully you guys liked it and find it helpful. If you all did, please leave a like and subscribe to support me. Thank you so much for watching.